So, in today's session, we are going to discuss how to build an intelligent content migration and delivery framework. So, in this session, we'll walk through how Sitecore CMP can be used to structure content and manage the multilingual variants, and how to integrate within the DAM and expose the headless content through the REST and GraphQL, and all of which plays a major role when migrating large scale websites. So, before we begin, a quick introduction. Just as you know, my name is Divya Singh, and I have over 6 years of experience working with Sitecore and Sitecore products. I'm currently working at EPAM system as Sitecore Dev, and I have been recognized as Sitecore MVP for 2025. And I regularly share my learnings and deep dives and practical implementation on my blog. And you can feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn as well. And I'm very happy to co-present this session with Shrikant. So with that, let's get started. Hand over to Shrikant.
Yeah, thank you, Divya. So, hello everyone. So, myself Shrikant Sahu. So, I am working as a senior site core developer with EPAM system. So, almost having 10 years of experience working with all the site core various versions, including SXA, Headless, Exam Cloud, site core search, XPXM, all things. Okay. I have been awarded technology MVP for 24-25. I'm certified in all Sitecore products. I'm a technical blogger as well as Sitecore mentor. So you can, if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, so you can, that is a LinkedIn profile. And I regularly write blogs. So my blogs mostly focus on technical part and implementation, what we do with Sitecore, XMC, all the things. Okay. Divya, next slide, please. Yeah. So for this session, this is our short agenda, what we are going to cover. So we will give a short introduction of DAM and CMP in Sitecore Content Hub. Then we will discuss one hypothetical enterprise case, why organizations are moving to CMP. Then we will see how we can design a content migration framework. Then we will also focus on like how we can add different locales and how we can use those locales to create multilingual contents. Then one major part like how we can connect our content marketing platform with downstream systems like different detached applications. Then how we can use the Sitecore AI and DAM to enhance our content operation within CMP. Some best practices and lesson learned, what we have learned from our experience while doing this short R&D in our organization. And then we can have a Q&A discussions. Divya, next slide, please. Yeah. So let us see like for short overview of DAM. As you all know, like working in Sitecore ecosystem, DAM is one of the major hot topic. Okay, so we have Sitecore Content Hub, which have many platform like DAM is one of the modules. Then we have CMP, then we have MRM, then we have PIM. So DAM is one of the important core module. Okay, so we will have a short introduction on that part, and we will see like how what is CMP, and here also we will give a short introduction. So let's focus on DAM part. So digital asset management, as we all know, like when we are working with large websites, okay. So the organization, they might have many digital assets in various forms like images, videos, documents, and that can be scattered all over the places. Okay. So digital asset management give us that flexibility to organize those files at one central repository so that it can be easily accessible. It can be easily versioned. It can be easily, we can enforce some rights all through all these features, whatever DAM provides. Okay. So second feature like of DAM is like your metadata. So every asset will have some metadata that we can manage. We can enforce our rights management, basically talking about the DRM rights, which give us the provision like if we are having some sensitive assets that should not be exposed. So that also we can control through permissions. We can create different versions of your particular assets. We can add tags, okay, so that assets can be easily relate to some other assets, or for we can use those tags for searching also, then for facet based filtering also. And then we have our default workflows, what we have like the create stage, review stage, and when that assets is approved, then it goes to your main asset page. Another great feature is, yeah, you can easily create, use the out of box search component and configure on the particular page to show all these assets which are available to your organization, so that can be easily accessible by different teams. And these components are usable components, so that can be used across the pages. Okay. So basically, in short, DAM give us all the flexibility to manage your asset from the draft state to the production live state. Okay. Let's focus on CMP part, like content marketing platform. So uh, when we were exploring this thing, correct, for one of our organization needs, so what we identified, like, this platform give us this flexibility for the marketers or anyone to create a structured content. Okay. uh, uh, for example, like, let me relate this thing to give a better idea. Let me relate this thing to a, what we say, in Sitecore. Okay, as we are mostly working in Sitecore. So in Sitecore also we are having multiple templates, correct, for articles, for blogs. So those are different contents basically. Okay, based upon some template. Similarly, CMP give us that flexibility, like we can create, instead of template, here the concept is of content types. So you can create various content types. Based upon those content types, you can create the actual content based on it. Like your content types can be videos, your content types can be articles, your content types can be blogs. Okay. Along with those thing, you can easily use taxonomies. Okay, to relate those content to each other. Also, we are having some taxonomies for local, basically providing, basically implementing the multilingual part. Then, as it's a content type in, as a content, we can also add the metadata properties, which can be utilized from when we expose any entity, basically content entities, content type entities, through REST APIs. So we can utilize those fields. Then, yeah, workflows, and there are other features like calendars also, basically to track. Okay. To track the particular content when it should go live. So making the life easier of marketer to manage all those things, okay, at one place, so that the deadlines and all those stuff should not be matched. What we have also identified, this is very much similar to, we can relate to Content Hub 1, the product which was there. Okay, like there also we used to create the same thing, and that those simple contents were exposed using the GraphQL and REST service. So CMP is basically that only. I can say that a small uh, content headless content management system itself inside the Content Hub. Okay. The third one is like it give us the support with the help of locales. You can create multilingual if your locales are there, so you can use those locales to create the multilingual content for that particular content, and you can add different variants also. So that feature is also available. So basically, when we combine all those things, correct, from planning to execution till production, so it gives us a structured content which can be used by any, like not only Sitecore platform. You can use it like if you are having a detached front end application or any application which can consume a REST API or your GraphQL, which support GraphQL query thing. Okay, you can directly use this content from this one platform. Divya, next slide, please. Yeah. So this is like why organizations are moving to CMP. This hypothetical enterprise case, what we will discuss here. So already people, like organizations are using Sitecore DAM. If they are having large number of assets, this is already Sitecore content is already available to the organization. So with the help of this DAM and this CMP, correct, they can, if they want to build a very small, lightweight, headless site, or any blog pages or article pages, correct, or any campaign targeting pages, they can easily utilize this content marketing platform. So we will see, like we can create a structured page content using content types and taxonomies. Then we already, as this is a Sitecore Content Hub, CMP is one of the module of Sitecore Content Hub. So there is direct linking of DAM and CMP basic through asset linking. So whatever assets you are having in approved state in your DAM, you can directly use those assets in your content created. Okay. Then you can have multiple website, like if the organization having multiple website, like small website, you can collect all those website, and you can create those content types, and you can create a collections also using content collection for a better organization. Then we can create multilingual content using the original plus variant language support. Then this part covers mostly like how you can create the content, but what about exposing those content? So there are two ways, like you can expose those content. So that is why REST API or GraphQL. Then we have now, as we all know, correct, Sitecore has integrated AI into all their composable product. So out of box, we are already having the support for Sitecore AI for faster guided content creation. So if we think about, correct, utilizing the DAM assets and managing small contents, okay. So this is one of the perfect product that we can utilize to build a scalable enterprise-wide digital experience. Divya, next slide, please. Yeah. So this is one of the content migration framework what we have dealt. Okay, we have created the high-level architecture how. So when we work on any migration framework, so the first part is always like the discovery and content edit. So if we are migrating a particular website which we need to migrate to CMP platform, so our first task is like check all the pages, what templates they are having, what components they are. Then we have to identify all the template fields, and according to that fields, as I mentioned previously, correct. What I have understood, it's just like a template, but the type is content type, and we can add, and every template has some fields. So similarly, your content types will have fields. So we have to map those fields. Then we have to also check about the multilingual need, like your existing website, what you are migrating, if that is having multilingual needs. And then we have to validate whether they are using existing DAM assets or not. So this all thing we can manage. Second, once this is identified, then we will create our content types in CMP structure. So based upon your templates and fields, whatever is there. So we will create according, each template will have its own content type and fields. Then uh, uh, these fields are basically called as atoms for components. Okay. So we are having some inbuilt taxonomies also called m.tags. So that is like that also we can use along with the fields to better tag your contents. Then you can we can add the new language. Okay. So we have to check whether what the existing website, whatever we are migrating, what languages are there that we can utilize, and we can create our own local, and using that local we can add the multilingual content. Okay. So if you are having multiple sites like blog articles, different, so we can utilize the feature of content collection. We can create a collection, okay, for better organization. Divya, next slide. Yeah. Now the third part is like when we work on migration, like we have to identify whether the existing website is using DAM assets or not. So if they are using, we can utilize the DAM asset linking strategy also. So whenever we okay, we can take this question afterwards. Okay. I've seen one question, but yeah, let's continue. So we can basically link your assets also. Okay. So whenever we create content and we in restricts field or any field, like if we are trying to attach the assets, so it give us the opportunity, it give us the option to particularly add approved DAM assets. Okay. The assets should be approved in approved state, that only we can attach to a particular field. Then we can also link those assets to content fields. Okay. And we can have we can maintain the metadata for that particular metadata and rights. So like in content we are having many right strategies like permissions. Okay. For not exposing the sensitive data, so that also we can maintain. So once this is done, the another path is content validation. So we have to like whatever extracted structure we have done from legacy CMS, correct? We can compare those things to our transformed content types. Okay, whatever content is created, whether it is there or not, we can schedule the workflows. Okay, from draft to approved state. Then we can we have to validate those metadata and taxonomy validation, and we can also check the cross variant consistency. Okay, whether the variants, whatever is created for those contents, are aligning properly with the content which we need. Okay, what we have migrated. And the next slide. Yeah. Now, once our CMP part is done, it's time to expose like how we can expose this thing. So we can use either GraphQL or REST API. The only difference between GraphQL and REST API is like when we have REST, correct. So it will expose all the things in one API call. Okay, but if we want some part of the data which is directly not linked, correct. So in this scenario, we can use our GraphQL query. It is almost similar to like how we work with headless. Okay, whenever we want some data which is not exposed through layout service, correct? So we can utilize this GraphQL feature to get those data. Then you have to like we can build queries for simple components, variants, or the for whole page level. This can be then utilized by any application, not only Sitecore. It can be used by any application. Even though Content Hub also can utilize this feature. Okay, directly by using the out-of-box component, you can configure what entities you need to show. So you can show this thing. AI supported authoring. This is all. This is like already Sitecore has introduced in all their composable stack. Okay, how we can use AI for translation assistance and how we can speed up the authoring. It has already helped us for speeding the authoring experience. It provides a real-time suggestion like how what the content should be, and then basically maintaining the uniformity. So this is one of the cool feature what Sitecore has already introduced, not only in Content Hub, like you can get in all the composable products. The next slide. Okay. So from this section, my colleague Divya, she will take ahead. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Shrikant. So, CMP handles multilingual contents very elegantly. So, when we create a content type and add fields, editor can create contents in all the languages that are there in the system. So first, in the menu, when we open our Sitecore Content Hub instance, and in the pages, we see the content types, and there we can view all the default types, which such as blogs, email, recipe, social media, white paper, and webinar. These are some of the default content types already out of box there in the content type, and the one and we can also create our custom content type, so for which we have to just click on the add type, where we will give the name. Let's say for this scenario I have created a generic site block, and when we are creating this, the identifiers will autofill the for the identifier and for the prefix. Then we have to choose some icons and the color to be able to recognize the content easily. And then these are the members in the content types. So for this generic site block, I have created few fields. So title, subtitle, and CTA text and URL are the single line text, and the hero image that I've created is the rich text, which can easily link our the DAM assets. So I have attached some screenshots. So how it's gonna look like in your system. So this is the content type we see on the manage page, and here you will see that there are 11 items, out of which few of them are the by default, and this is the one which I have custom created. So here are the fields. If I wanted to add new member, there is another option to add the members. So when we click on the add members, these are the fields, as I said, single line text and the multi-line text and rich text and reference available to us. And this is the main area where we work. So when we log in into our system, in the menu we see the content is basically part of our CMP module. So here Shrikant has already mentioned about the content collection, how it helps in organizing the multiple sites content at one place, and work is where we are going to create our content. So let's say we have clicked on the work, so work page is gonna look like this, right? So, and in the side, these are the components. Basically, if you want to customize them, you can change the default configurations as well. So let's see, there's this option on the right hand side to create a new content. I'm going to click on this, and then there will be a pop-up appear, right? So here in the name for this content, I have given like test content for SUG, and the type is basically the content type. So if you have seen in the previous slide, I've created a new content type with generic site block with few of the fields, and I have clicked on the create. So this is how this content will look like in the system. You will note against the title there is this star icon, which shows for the Sitecore AI being used on this content. So while filling these fields, I have used the Sitecore AI as a out of box feature here. So Once we fill all the fields for the content and we save it, now we'll see how CMP, with downstream systems can utilize them. So there are two ways through which CMP provides or expose the data to the other websites or apps or any portal. So REST is great, for quick checks or fetching full entities, and GraphQL is ideal, for the structured queries only to fetch what you need. So both methods allow downstream application to consume these fields. So let's check this. So when we fetch this content, right, we use this endpoint with our instance where we provide the entity ID, and it will expose all these properties, underline it, and you will note that under the image you will see that there will be source and how the public links will expose. I'll show you in the next slides too. For both of these, we need API key, and there is one of my blog where you can follow the guide and how to create for the preview and for both delivery API, how we have to create the keys. You can follow that blog, and you have to pass that tokens in both while fetching the REST API and in the GraphQL. So this is the sample how when for the REST how it's gonna look like. So these are the basically properties, right? So this is in the REST API. There are some other relations. So this is gonna load the full entity with all the relations and the properties there. But for the structured content, I have wrote this GraphQL query, passing the GraphQL token, and you would see it has fetched only the what I have passed in my query, and only the data that is required by me, right? So let's see how in CMP we can enhance the content operations and how asset linkings works here. So there are two ways, mostly in the Sitecore AI, which provides assistance at the field level, and when we create the localization or local content for your original content. So let's see at the field level. So this is, I think, I have already covered. I have discussed that you see against the title there this icon. This means that I have utilized the Sitecore AI. So when you click on any title, there you see this star icon, which opens this pop-up. You write your query or anything that you wanted to translate or any help that is needed from the Sitecore AI. You click on generate. It gives you option to insert it or to replace the original one, and you can do this. So this is at the field level assistance through the Sitecore AI. And the next use case is when you create the localized component. Let's say for this original, this is my, let's say, original content, test content for SUG. And for this, I want to create a localized content in some other language, let's say Dutch. So there's this option, which is through out of the box Sitecore AI, translate with AI, right? Which will translate our original content into the Dutch. So once I will enable this toggle, I'm going to click on create. For the first time, it will show me the error. That means the field must be filled in the original entity, which says that I have to go back to this original content, and there in the details I will have this option of the locale. I have to mention which language is this, and for this language, for this original entity, what localized next version I'm going to create. So once I have given this locale English, and I'm going to save this info. And again, when I will try to create a new, I would be able to create it. And you will see that Sitecore AI has translated this. So I have not translated this content by myself. It is done by Sitecore AI. And you will note against the title, there are two things that you could see now. One says this is the variant content, and the another is that Sitecore AI being utilized on this content, right? And the locale that you could see is also mentioned here. The next thing is how to check the variants as well. If one wants to know the how many variants of this original entity being there, so you go on your content and click on the variants option here, and the variants will show you exactly that for this Dutch there is this English version which is the original available here. So like this you can check your content variations as well. In the next slides, how we can how in the CMP DAM asset linking works. So as I said, when you create any custom content type, to enable asset DAM linking, you have to create a field with the rich text field, right, which will allow us to add any images, be it vector or non-vector, any doc or any media file. It will allow you, and also on the component, if you want to change any by default Sitecore configuration, that we can also do. For the default, we see only the approved assets, and that too from the M content repositories. Let me show you how. So let's say in this image assets, there is this option to insert the image. Once I click on this, this has shown some assets which are in the approved states. And in this selection, I have selected this image. So once I click on this select option, this show me all the public links for this assets. Now original public link is there. So basically it exposes the public link URL to the downstream applications. So I'm just gonna select this. So this is gonna expose the AI, but in the preview you are going to see your image. And it doesn't matter, in the rich text editor you can add multiple images if you wanted to do it. There is, so by default CMP has this component as well in the below attachments, where you can add more attachment to your content if you don't want to use it. If you want it to be served as a dedicated content CMS like kind of, so you can disable this component as well, or else it can expose other related assets as well if needed. So we are going in this slides we are going to see the best practices and the lesson that we have learned through this experiment. So in the content we have to create the content types or the custom content types very simple, and that could be reusable in all the sites. And we have to define taxonomy earlier for the clean organization. So taxonomy we can utilize for the two things. One is for the tags. Let's say for your content in the details we have an option to tags. So in taxonomy when you open it, right, there is m.tags, where you could create your own tags for the site and you can expose through it. So in the REST API, we have this relation of am tag to content, from where you can fetch all the contents which has this tag that you have given on your sites, right? And the second use case is when we add a new language. So that time also we create through the taxonomy. The second thing was regarding the DAM usage. So we can easily, I have shown you like how we can easily link the assets, right, and that are in the approved states. And if we want more permissions and the other customizations could be done on the component configuration level. And the localization, once the language is set up, we could easily create the variants, right, and we could provide AI translation for the auto translated, right, or at the field level to the content authors. And for the migration, we can audit all these structure, and we can migrate the templates into the content type that we have created, and we can validate all those fields and the assets, right. And for the delivery, because we are treating this framework as an exposing all the content information that is there in your CMP module to the downstream application, which can easily consume the content that you have created, as well as the assets that have been approved, go through the workflows and could be published, and the other application can utilize them, right. Yeah. So now we are open for the questions. I'm sharing, stop sharing my screen. Anyone, any question?
Yeah, I think there are a couple in the chat. If you would
Okay, let me
complete,
just
and
read
it's
it.
already answered few.
Is there any new question? We can migrate non-prod assets to production environment of content dam instance. I think this is not part of this scope. Migrating the non-prod assets to production, this integration layer is very different, right? It depends from which source of system the assets are coming. So in each environment, it's different. In dev, it could be test assets, right? In UAT, it would be different. And let's say in the production from the various sources, through the different integration, the assets are migrating there. We can utilize them, right? But the condition, as I said, we could give on the component, because by default Sitecore gives the assets that are part of M content repository, right? So when we work in the traditional LAM, if I don't include the CMP, there you will see only the assets that are also part of your M dot standard repository. So by default in the CMP, the assets that you see comes from the M content repository. So you have to change the configurations to enable this for the in the production. Is there any new question, Rohan?
I don't see anything in that, a new question. Questions that were there are answered by Shrikant. So,
Mm-hmm.
is there
Rowan, your voice is coming too low. It's for me or like for everyone?
no, I think, is it clear now?
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah. So I was saying there are no new questions in a chat. So if anybody has a question, you can raise your hand or unmute and just ask your questions. Yes. So, hi, Divya. Can you just share a couple of use cases for CMP and where we can use it compared to Sitecore or
Yeah,
XP and
sure.
XM platform?
Yes, so for one of our organization, we conducted this experiment where for now we did this for very lightweight sites, right? So we migrated few of the pages. When we say migrated, I mean the content. So let's say on the pages we identified there were 5 components, right? So there's one thing, it depends which team is created the content, because the content types that we have seen, the custom one, that only the super user could create them. So once that is created, you create your content, you create your variations. So when we fetch it through the GraphQL or through the REST API, in the REST API, the entity ID for the variation and for the original, it would be different. But in the GraphQL, it allows us to give both the variation and in the single call, right? So yeah, this was the use case that that organization already has its solution in the DAM, right? So there are thousands of assets already there in their site. They wanted a solution where they could also migrate few of their site from the contentful to this Sitecore CMP module, because it's already there, right? It's part of the license. So yeah, and they were able to utilize this data in their front end apps or any other downstream application that they wanted to use later on in the integration level.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.